My name is Grace Efezokai. I love to read books, I love to have conversations with my friends, and I started to create this YouTube channel named Convos with Gracie in order for me to share like my conversations with you, my viewers, and you, my YouTube family as well. So I hope that you get to join me on this conversation, on this YouTube journey. So I'm going to be talking about books, maybe places that I've been to, or share my funny experiences that I've had in my life, and maybe subsequently I'm probably bring like my friends over to have conversations with you as well. So I will try to make this as more engaging as much as possible. And yeah, so maybe like a few things about myself. My name is Grace Efezokai. I have 4 siblings. I grew up in Nigeria. I had my grad school in the US, and right now I currently live in Canada. So basically my first video I wanted to talk about culture shocks that I've experienced. Not all maybe culture shock, but like just different things that I've experienced there that is quite different from what I experienced back home. And maybe there are some that I've laughed at myself, some that I've laughed at the system, and there are some that are like, okay, this system is really good, or some that are really like, this is done way better in Nigeria. So I'm going to be talking about 10 culture shocks that I've experienced today. Yeah. So the first one, I'm going to talk about credit cards. So like in Nigeria where I come from, if they say cash is king, in Nigeria cash is the king's boss. So if you need anything, you need to have your cash. If you want to buy a house or you want to build your house, you're going to save towards it. There is nothing like getting like a credit for your house. So this year, if you have money, you can buy your land. Next year, you can do the foundation and put fence around it. So when I came here, I was very I knew that the Americans, like when I first moved to the US, I knew that there was like a very good credit system where you could get like credit card for like your house, maybe like your car. But I didn't know that credit card was so mainstream. And I used to make this joke that in the US, you could actually leave your house to go for an early morning jog, and then you could come back with like 3 pre-approved credit cards, and you could get like one other credit card or 2 in your mailbox unsolicited. So the credit card is so mainstream. And even when I wanted to open my bank account, the lady told me that, oh, don't you want to stay here for the long term? You need a credit card. I was like, I don't want a credit card. But she's like, oh, the credit card comes with your account. You're going to use it to build your credit history. I understand that, yes, if you want to build your credit history, you need to have credit, but there is a method to the madness, and I think some people don't understand that method, and they all become this so fixated on debt. Like the debt culture in the US is so rife, but I know in Canada they are quite relaxed, not as aggressive as the US. Like in the US, you could go to like grocery store, there's a credit card, and it's all up in your face. Like, oh, don't you want to get a credit card today? It's going to be 50% off with the credit card. You don't even have to make any payment today, and it's always so enticing. Like right now, if I want to get a car, like the latest car, I can get it on credit. But like, do you really want to live your life on credit? I know you could actually do all these things well, but I feel like people are now so indebted, like they're so fixated on the system, like they feel like without this credit they can't survive. So like it's not unusual to see, like you could be having a conversation with an American and be like, I have like $500,000 in debt, and everybody is just talking casually. Even you, me, I'm not like this is USD, not 500 naira that they're talking about like this. So like they have a very interesting credit card culture that I'm still trying to understand why you that you're earning, a low income earner will have credit card bill of about 4 times your annual income. Like it's just crazy. But I think it has its good side, it has its bad side, and I wish that people understood it than having like multiple credit cards. You see someone with 10 credit cards and so much debt, and they're like, oh, it's like a normal life to them. I don't know, maybe because the Nigerian in me is like, that's too much debt, but to them it's just fine. So I think that was for the first one. That one is like my number one. Like it's still like I remember there was this friend I had. She moved into a new apartment, and then she wanted to get like bed set, and then she went to this furniture store and she got a bed set, and there was a credit card available for her. So she told me now she wanted to get bed set, so she got a credit card from the furniture company. And so I was just like, wow, like bed set again, there's credit card, you got credit card just for your bed sets. But like it's just, I don't know, it's just their culture. So the second one is mental health. They are so there's so much focus on mental health here that it's just amazing to me. I'm like, some things that happen and they're like, oh, your mental health is key. I'm like, we've suffered worse than this. To us it was like a normal part of life, right? And so two incidents actually. So the first one was when I was in grad school. So I went to International Students Building, and then I was looking for, I can't remember the particular office I was looking out for. So I was just walking around the hallway trying to, I think I was on like the third floor of the building. So like, oh, was it the second floor? I wasn't really sure. So I passed this office, and on the poster on the door was, if you just broke up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, there are therapists. Was it therapists or counselors? One of them that there you can always book an appointment. I moved back. I was like, like the school is so concerned that I'm in school and I need to focus because I broke up with my boyfriend or my girlfriend. Like, I was just like, God. Anyway, it was just very interesting to me. And then I remember one time at work here in Canada too. This was, the other one was in the US, here it was in Canada. So something happened at work and it was going on for a long time. I just felt like, what's there? Like, I've experienced such kind of things in Nigeria. So I was telling someone at work about it one day, just casually, and he's like, oh my God, you need to speak up, you need to speak about it, your mental health is key here. I'm like, calm down. Like, so when you get talking about mental health, I'm like, it's nothing. Like, no, it's something, you need to speak up about it. The next day, so we had like career mentor, like a performance manager, so to speak. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, we're going through all this. Next thing, it escalated. Like, everybody was just like, we're so sorry, and you didn't speak up about it, we're so sorry, I hope you're okay. I'm just like, this was just a trivial issue to me. Like, why is everybody making it like, I felt like they were making like a what do you call that thing now? I just feel like they were exaggerating, but like, it's just them, like every little thing, mental health, oh, your mental health is key. But like, maybe because the system where I grew up, we've gone through so much, right? And it's something just become the norm for you. Like, for example, when like in Nigeria, when the PHCN takes light, or like there's no even power in the house for like 3 days, like, oh wow, last week we had light for like 10 hours, that was good, or they really tried. But here, like, I remember one time there was like short power outage, and in the next 2 minutes my neighbor was like, can you imagine, I'm gonna call them. I was like, calm down, they'll bring the power back. So like, it's just very weird how little things that become like a norm for me, they take it like a big deal here. Like, any small thing, oh, mental health. So now I'm trying to be more sensitive to mental health, because maybe now I have more understanding of mental health, right? Because let me even say it here, I was once ignorant. So like, before, my idea of mental health is somebody that is stark naked, tattered clothes, and you have to go to a psychiatric home. But here, like, you could see some mental health is beyond that. Like, you could see somebody wearing suits, and person could have maybe anxiety disorder or something. So like, they really take mental health very serious here. So the third one was church, like getting into a new church. So now when I moved to Canada, trying to get a new church was like very difficult. You go to this church, you see that they are trying to be politically correct. See, it's a church. Preach from the Bible, right? Preach directly from the Bible. Preach it with your chest. Don't try to be watering down what is in the Bible. If the Bible says XYZ, that XYZ is bad, say that is bad. Don't try to be trying to water everything down. Like, I don't know, but before I could even get a church, I think getting a church to attend in the US was easier for me than it was in Canada. And I know that there was this particular church that I went to. You know how you watch like a Tyler Perry movie and you see how black churches are, right? Exactly. This particular church that I went to, it was like 3 minutes walk from my house. But apart from you know how the people make noise, you see everybody, then the is it bishop, I can't remember, pastor is preaching out from a book, and he's talking, and he's like, and the Lord said, James, get up, get out. Like, and it's as if he already has a transcript of what he's supposed to say. So as he's saying it, he's singing. I don't know if he's singing or people are dancing, and I was just there like, what's happening here? But the guys, it was a black African American church, but everybody on the choir, my God, like, the men were fine. Like, different shade of black, like caramel, dark chocolate. I was just like, man, I was like, I went there the second time. I was like, you know what, Grace, this is not what you're used to. You need to get like another church. So I think in the US, the church I finally started attending when I was now mobile, I didn't have to wait for someone to come and pick me up, was it was a mixed race church. And so one day they were talking about donation for something. Every week, I'm not exaggerating, every week till I left, I think that was when I finally moved out of the country. Every week they were talking about, they would do like a presentation, like PowerPoint, like this week we received $10,000, $100,000 for this project. We are way beyond, we are 10% off from the final plan that we had in mind. And I was just like, I've never seen such. I'm not saying that churches in Nigeria are bad or anything, but I'm just like, it was just shocking for me to see that level of accountability from the church to like the members. So then I think the fourth one, you know how in Nigeria, like maybe because we don't have like trauma services, like when I say trauma services, so like if let's say there's a fire, before you know it, you'll have heard the fire people coming straight with their siren, you know, to quench the fire. So maybe that's why these people are not really they're not really fidgeted when things are happening. So like in Nigeria, maybe if you're walking, me that grew up in Lagos, and you just see like 3 people in front of you, maybe like 500 meters away from you, running, you don't even care what's happening, you are going to run and follow them. So let me reduce it. So my first house as a student, I think there was like, is it fire alarm they call it, or smoke alarm, I don't know. I think I put on, I don't know, I just heard a sound, and then let me even tell you what I was wearing. Like I ran out of my house and it was a condo. Like I was on the hallway, right? And I don't know my neighbors, you know how it is. Your neighbor, they don't care, everybody minds their business. I was just panting, and I came back inside. I realized that it was the fire alarm. There's fire alarm in the house. There's something that detects smoke. So I put on the stove, and I think I forgot to put it off, and that was what caused the fire alarm. I was just laughing at myself. And then I think another incident again was when I was in school too. So we had a class, and then the fire alarm went off. I was already carrying my laptop, my backpack. I just realized that everybody was so calm. I was like, Grace, don't just dull yourself here. So I actually started to remember. They were so calm. They didn't even move out. So the professor was still saying, okay, there's a fire alarm out. But my heart was beating. But like, Grace, calm down. There's fire service here. Just breathe. So when the professor was like, okay, so let's all remain calm. Everybody was calm. Like, let's all remain calm. Okay, let's just start fighting out now. Quietly, nobody was running. Niger. Everybody, you run, fire alarm, you start running, you start shouting, you know. But I think fire services came immediately, and I think that's really great. And I think it's because these people have like a good response system to like trauma, to like cases like fire and all that. That's why they're always calm. Maybe that's why. But it took me a lot of time to get used to that. And I think another one was in school then. So I was in the library, and I think what even happened. A professor, I don't know, maybe his girlfriend or his wife, I don't know. She left her state where she was coming. She came to school to see the professor. She went to the guy's office. I think the guy was in one of these science schools. So like went to the school of, I think, was it medical science? I can't remember again. She went there. She shot this man. She shot herself. So the whole school was on lockdown. So I was in the library, and then they were like, oh, everybody remain calm. There was a shooting at social building. Remain calm. Hey, God. I was like, people didn't even shake. They were just, studying their book. I was just like, Grace, you have to remain calm. You need to learn how to be calm. Like, but I think we were on lockdown in the library for like hours before they finally let us go. But everywhere, like, there were policemen everywhere. I was like, you know what, response to trauma, anything like and things like this, I was like, you guys tried. Yeah. And then the fifth one, going for parties. So like in Nigeria, like if you want to go for a party, whoever is inviting you is going to be the host. And if you're going to be the host, you're going to host everything, like food, drinks. But yeah, you'll be like, oh, we're going for a party, bring drinks. I'm like, why would I bring drinks for a party that I should bring it as a form of courtesy, right? Not like you're now demanding. And then they're very conscious of time. So like for me, like Nigerian, if they tell you that a party is starting by 4 p.m., you can't go there by 4 p.m. man. So that it won't look like you see that you've not seen food to eat in your own house. So like I remember someone invited me for a party by, I think it was like maybe 6 or so. So I think was it 6 or like 4? It was no 3 p.m. So I already checked the distance. I was like, okay, it's a 10 minutes, I think 20 minutes drive. I was like, okay, I'll just sleep there maybe by 5. I think I even slept off. So I think I woke up around, I can't remember when I woke. I think I woke overslept. I was like, oh, party will still be on now. The lady, somebody, my friend called me. I'm like, where are you? Are you not here? I was like, we're already running up the party. I'm like, did you people say that they started on the dot or by the 3 p.m.? So I was like, it's just, we're like going for parties, like the timing and things to bring is just very strange, like very different to me anyways. And then the sixth one, crossing the road. You know how if you want to cross the road like this, you look left, you look right, you will run on the expressway. Then in fact, if you have like your even your mom, your aunties, they all tell you want to cross the road, always look left, always look right, and look left again before you cross. So even when you have like your mom or your auntie, like when I was very little, somebody will hold you to cross you, you run. So I knew that here things are organized, right? But I think the whole Nigeria running on the road was still in my subconscious. So I got to this road, and then I don't even know. I can't remember if it was time for me to cross, if the traffic light was on red. I can't even remember again. All I knew was that I was just running. I think when I almost got to the end, I was like, oh my God, Grace, you're not back home. But I was so ashamed. And people were there, and they were like students, and my school was mostly, I would say my school was mostly 90% white. Yeah, the minorities were like maybe 10%, or maybe let's say 80-20%. So I was so ashamed. I just started doing like this. But I was so shy. Like here it's just that whole crossing the road. Even when you're crossing the road, even when I have the right of way as a pedestrian, right? I'm still always walking fast. But you just see the cars will just be there. If a car is supposed to turn, the car will just be waiting for you. People see people on their phones, they won't be crossing the road. Like just be like, I don't know, it was just, now I'm used to it, like seeing things like that. But like when I first came, I just be very fascinated by it. And then the seventh one is disability. So like this one is not a culture, well, I won't say it's a culture shock. It's something that I'm just in awe of, right? Like the fact that no matter somebody's disability, you can live your life independently, you can live your life beautifully. You don't have to worry, you don't have to be dependent on anyone. The system is created to make you independent. So like when I see like somebody that is visually impaired at the subway going on her own with a walking stick, like I was just like, wow, like wow. Then the time I saw a man that had, I think he was on wheelchair, was it wheelchair? Yes. And he could still enter into his car by himself, and he still drives by himself. Like somebody that is I know in Canada here, especially in Ontario where I stay, the government has like this like a transit. They don't use the some of them use the public transit, but there's special transit for people that maybe that have issues with their mobility. So you have like, I remember there was this guy I had at work, right? If he was coming to work, he had like the government has this vehicle just for them. They come to pick him up at work, they bring they take him back. And I thought like, I don't know, like I was just, it still amazes me, like somebody that is I remember there was even one team at work, one of the places that I worked before. My manager had like was hearing impairment. Like he's a manager, he's a team leader, he's managing a team of about 20 people. So I was on that team like for like a few weeks, just so a temporary position. I mean, it's a temporary role within the company. So I was up there for like maybe 2 weeks. But they were there for up to 2 weeks. Anyway, so this guy was, visually, he had hearing impairment. So I didn't even know. But I knew that when he's talking, I'm like, I struggled to, hear what he was saying. But then it was like, he mentioned his country where he's from Australia, I guess, yeah. So it was like, I was like, is this how Australian accent sounds? So now, we now had like a team meeting. And then I just saw somebody, I just saw like a lady because we're all working virtually, so we saw a lady, like she was just doing the whole hand movement. I'm like, what's going on? I now found out that later that actually my manager then had a hearing impairment. So the organization got him like an interpreter. So even when I had like my one-on-ones for the short period I was on that team, the interpreter was there, like as I was talking, she was interpreting everything, and I was just like, like, see that one when I finally realized like this was what was going on. I think for like that whole month, everybody I spoke to, I told everybody that, man, like I was just like, it was just amazing. Like, you don't have to be limited by maybe any impairment or any disability on your body. Like, for I don't know, it just still today it still wows me. Like the fact that the bank, I mean the organization at that time had to get like an interpreter just for this manager. So every meeting that we had, the interpreter was there in presence. So when I even asked someone, so the person told me that before the what they call itself before sorry, I'm trying to remember, before COVID happened and the lockdown and everything, like the woman used to actually come into the office for like when they have like group meetings, she's there to interpret. And I was just like, it's just amazing. And it's even here in Canada that I saw people that are autistic. You see them in suits, they are going to work. You even see like I remember there was this particular bank, they were even advertising for people that just had autism, like just come, like there's a job for you. And it just like, I don't know, when I think about it, it still blows my mind away. Then the eighth one is pets. I knew that okay, Oyibo, they like pets and everything, like their dogs, but like I didn't know that the love was this strong. Let me put it that way. So like when I came and I saw like a grocery store, we like call it a grocery store, like a pet store, very big pet store just for pet. Like you can come there, you can have your bath, they can bait your dog for you. You pay actually for it. There's like on the shelf you see like different food for the dogs, and the way they take care of their dogs. Like there's one woman, she was crying that cat, like the daughter she never had, you know, a cat was sick and she had spent thousands of dollars, but the cat wasn't recovering. So I think they were not advising that she should just let go of the cat. So mom was crying, like, you know, when you're crying, all the snot in your nose, everything. I was just like, wow. Then you now hear of somebody that wanted to take a dog for a kidney transplant. And I think the other part I like about them is even when they're taking their like dogs on the stroll, you see them with like is it some like they have like a poop bag. So when the dog poops on the road, they'll just pack it up with the poop bag that they have in their hand. I was like, hey God, I don't know, it just amazes me. And then the ninth one was libraries. Okay, I knew that they'll have libraries, but I didn't know that libraries were so mainstream, like it's everywhere. Like I remember when even here too in kind of in Ontario where I stay, you have a lot of libraries everywhere. And then in the US too, like my school library, my school library was bam. Like apart from even my school library, like their local libraries, like walking distance from everywhere that I stayed, I could always walk into a library, get a book, go online, I want this book to be gotten, and then they'll deliver it to that place. I'll even tell them where I want to pick up the book from. I was just like, hey God, see love. So I think the one that really blew my mind was one time I wanted to get a book, and I think the library didn't have it. So I was talking to one of the librarians, right? And she's like, oh, you do that, we can always get the book for you. If we don't have it, we'll check other local libraries, but if other local libraries don't have it, we're going to buy the book for you. Me, I was just like, buy the book for me. She's like, yeah, we can buy it for you. Me, I was still there looking like I've never experienced that kind of love before. So she brought out like a paper and pen. So I wrote down the name of the book I wanted, and she was like, okay, we're going to get back to you. Sincerely, I don't think that thing took a week. The library they didn't just get one, they got like 12 copies of that book. And they're like, oh, the book is now available at the library, come and pick it up. And I was just like, hey God, it's just too interesting. Even though now in Ontario where I stay, like I have a lot of libraries, like I can borrow like up to 10 books. Like in fact, the library pampers me with a lot of books, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't buy books anymore. But anyway, I pay my taxes, so that covers that. And then the last one is people telling me their life stories. I think this was really more common for me in the US. Like you could just be maybe like we just went to one office, you're just sitting down, somebody can just come and start telling you, oh, my husband is my third husband, and then my kid is 16, just had a baby. I'm like, Why are you telling me? Like, I don't know you from anywhere. And that's at some point I really found it very uncomfortable. But I just realized that it's just their own way of life. It's their own culture. Like, they don't really carry things to their chest or keep things so much as a secret. They all tell people, oh, my son just had a baby, he's 15. Can you imagine? He's already having sex at 15. Like, I don't know what they do. Like, since I have to go take care of him and take care of the baby. I was like, Mama, I'm like, you don't know me from anywhere. We just met. You never meet me again. Why do you tell? And I have some very, in fact, there was one woman again I met. I think it was in Canada. So just a 5 minutes conversation. This one just moved from, you don't need a husband. You can just get something from, you can just go to the sperm bank and get a very good sperm. I'm just like, oh my God, how do we jump here? Like, in just 5 minutes. But like, anyways, so those are some of my experiences that I've had here, living in abroad and living out of my home country. Although it's different. There's some things that I really admire, like the disability part. Like that one, it's outstanding. Like it blows my mind every time. Even when the last time I went to like a grocery store, was it a grocery store or a pharmacy? I can't remember. There was this guy. He had like a white dog, so it didn't occur to me that this guy was visually impaired. Like, and he was buying things by himself. God, like, I don't know, it still blows my mind. I think till the next 100 years I will still be blown by it. But anyway, that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can also tell me in the comment section, the culture shock that you've experienced, maybe when you moved into a new city. It doesn't have to be a new country, a new city, a new country, or wherever. I'd like you to share your experiences in the comment section. And also, if you want me to talk about different things, like anything I want me to talk about on this channel, you can also put it down there in the comment section. And I look forward to our next video, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week ahead.